So hi, Alethea. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I've got my Ships in the Night t-shirt on.
Love it. Love it. Looks great.
I love this seahorse design.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I love that too. It's like an X-ray of a seahorse.
Yeah. You designed it yourself?
I did. Yeah.
Good. You have really beautiful art direction. Do you have a background in art?
Um, Not like officially or anything, but I've always kind of been in that world. And like I definitely when I started Ships in the Night, I had this really clear like image of what the like aesthetic would be. So that was sort of just a given and then it sort of flowed from there. But yeah, no like specific background really.
Okay. Well, your visuals fit your sound perfectly. Just sort of this ethereal dreamscape.
Thank you. That's really nice.
So you've talked about artists in general who have influenced you. I know Kate Bush is a big one. She's one of my favorites. So that caught my attention with you right off the bat, actually.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Kate Bush song?
You know, I know it's like the song, but running up that hill is I mean that song is like was so influential to me and I also love this woman's work, which is like a little bit of a different kind of song, but that song has like always been really beautiful. I mean, yeah, there's so much in there that is good, and she's been influential in a lot of ways. But yeah, that I mean, I think it's just because that was the first song I heard, and it like hit me, you know.
Yeah. She also has this otherworldly vibe that you seem to tap into as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, she definitely does. And yeah, visually just she does a lot of really interesting things and just a pretty incredible, artist all around. I
Yeah.
think she's influenced like a lot of people, even not in the genre. I don't even know what the genre would be, but like even who are really different from her.
Do you feel like that is something that has drawn you to music in general? Is the desire to take yourself out of this world in a way?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I feel like music is escapism and it's cathartic and it's just like a chance to um, go somewhere else, whether that's in your mind or like on a stage or touring and traveling across the country. But it really is a way to pull yourself out of what you're in the rest of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So whether that's good or bad. And right now, of course, that's like very good usually. So
Right. So, how has life been for you there in Northern Virginia during the pandemic?
Yeah, I actually feel really lucky. I really do. I mean, I teach music lessons virtually. Did that some time before, and then when everything really hit, I just started doing that, and I had a bunch of shows canceled. I was going to Hawaii, and I had but that was really such a small. It was really such a small thing in comparison to everything that I felt like it was not a deep dive for me into like a really hard place. It was like I feel really grateful, mostly I'm able to work, able to keep making music, so I have I'm in my home studio right now. I mean, it's very small, but it's like this is where I make music, so I'm not, I don't bandmates, so I'm not trying to get together for practicing and not able to because of quarantine. So I really have a lot of advantages in some ways, but it's been incredibly hard and just watching the world and yeah, but and there's been a lot of sort of music that's come from that, and also both sort of dark and light, in terms of how to process everything, I guess.
Yeah. So, you were going to Hawaii to see our friend Jody Rose, right?
Yeah.
Do you think
Yeah.
you'll get back there next year, maybe?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, yeah, as far as we know, that's definitely next year or whenever it can happen. We're definitely going to do that. Yeah, Jody Rose is great, incredible promoter, wonderful person, just a really wonderful person. So, um, yeah, so hopefully that'll happen at some point. I played out in Portland at a show that he put together too. So
Yeah, that would be awesome. I've never been to Hawaii, but it looks beautiful, of course.
Definitely.
So we were talking earlier about specific songs that you feel have been an influence on your music, and you listed 5 for me, which are Depeche Mode, "Shake the Disease," Susie and the Banshees, "Kiss Them for Me," Wolfsheim Sparrows and the Nightingales, Q Lazarus, "Goodbye Horses," and Madonna, "Like a Prayer." And when you listed those right off the bat, I was like, oh, they all have this mood. And I'm trying to put it into words because it's something you feel, and I feel it in your music too. But can you describe what it is?
That's a great question because it was so hard coming up with those songs. Like it really, I was like, what? Because influence is such a strange thing. It's not like I mean, actually, it probably does go this way sometimes where someone hears a song and they're like, I want to write a song like that or with that
Mhm.
sound or, that sort of feeling. But for me, it's been so much more of like I hearing something sort of absorbing a song, or maybe it's like a movie or art in other ways, absorbing it, and then it's sort of like it sort of blends into me, and then I like produce based on that. So it's kind of hard to really see clear influences. I mean, the two things I generally like have said in terms of real influences are not even um, so much music that would be sort of like in my type of genre, but it's like Twin Peaks, the show. It was
Mhm.
influential, just that whole world for me. And also like Motown music from the 60s, because I'm so into pop and the hook and like, like a song that like grabs you, and that music is so catchy. And so other worlds, and then also like this like real like hook. And so but to get to your question, those 5 songs, I feel like it's sort of like kind of almost like this like dark, warm, almost like hopeful in some way, like it's not it's like kind of the softer side of darkness, maybe.
Yeah.
Sort of. It's not sharp. It's like kind of warm. And yeah, like I was thinking about how none of those songs have like the end of like a prayer, it's this really uplifting, uh, choir, and it's really beautiful. And then you have, what are the other ones? Kiss Them for Me is mostly major song. It's not like in a minor key, so yes, they're not just all totally, even though I really identify with like darker genres, dark wave and goth and things like that, in some ways. But there is like, those songs are kind of funny because none of them are like deep driving, kind of harder dark songs.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
You're like the what was I going to say? Pastel goth, or the ethereal fairy goth. Definitely relate to that a lot. And just on a more technical note, I mean, all of those songs are synth based. There's a
Yes.
lot of layered vocals, some choral sounds in both "Shake the Disease" and "Like a Prayer."
Mm-hmm. There's like the shifts in the night elements are like, I don't want to break the formula down too much, but it's not a formula. I've seen music that is a formula, like inserting, the same words and same rhymes, and you have like you build a song and you have your signature bass sound and your signature kick, and that's just what you use for every song. And like that's like not what I do at all. Like it's pretty much all built from the ground up. I mean, I do reuse things occasionally, but basically that is to say that there are some things that are sort of like the sound and had kind of have become that. And that is, it's pads, choirs, reverse breaths. That's a huge thing I use as drums. Lots of layered vocals, harmonies, strings, like kind of sweetened string sounds. Yeah, it's a lot of like delay, a little bit of delay. And so,
Yeah.
I guess it's funny because over time, as I make more music, I realize that I do, use these certain, they've built sort of a sound around which I like do other things too. I'm just going to be tucked away in the mountains for a minute, just trying to kind of refresh and get back into music for the winter. That's kind of like a goal of mine, sort of taking a break right now to work on the next album coming out. So that's, yeah, it's been exciting. I'm celebrating the end of my first semester of that being at NYU. I'm getting my master's in social work, which will allow me to be a music therapist in a way where I can actually take insurance and, you know, be a therapist for real. So music is what I love, and so that's what I you know, want to keep doing in whatever way I can.
All right. So tell me about the song Lost Times, what it means to you, and how it came to be on the Cleopatra compilation, The Unquiet Grave 2020.
Yeah, sure. So Lost Times is actually one of the first Ships in the Night songs. Like, even though it just came out last year, it was brewing for a long time. It started off as words scrawled in a notebook, as you know, many songs do for many people. Then it slowly became piano chords underneath those words and a melody. It's actually funny, I found a version of it on my computer the other day of me just playing it from years ago, just like singing the melody and the chords. And it over time just got sculpted into this song that has a pretty big sound. I mean, that song kind of is, you know, has these really kind of sweeping synths and, you know, sort of heavy drums. And that was really kind of the dream of it. You know, it was like, there's something about that really lush sound for me that, you know, the kind of sound that you hear it and it, like, you can feel it sort of, and I'm not talking about bass here, but like you can just kind of makes you hurt a little bit. Like, I love that, you know, climactic sort of feeling. And I felt like, I think that song kind of has captured a little bit of that. And so, so fun to play live too. I love that song. It's one of my favorites. I usually start out the set with that. But yeah, and then with The Unquiet Grave, which you should all check out. It was actually this show last year. It was the same thing. So it was really you. I think you were the one who made it come about, because we were all together in December and Ethan was there, and I think he caught the set, and then I think that song stuck out for him, and he then wrote me and asked for it to be on the Cleopatra comp. And so yeah, which I was really excited about, because, you know, that's a great label, and that song is really special to me. It's just been built for so long. There is a place where time stands still is actually a line that was on a collage in my sister's bedroom, that's from a book, you know. And so that's like such a weird, you know, and it was built around that line. So that's like a really deep, you know, when we were younger, you know what I mean? So it's pretty like ancient, actually.
So tell us about your new single.
Yeah, okay. So Where the Light Froze came out last Friday. That's a song that I started in quarantine, and it's really about that. It's really about distance and being far away from people that you love. And what's kind of weird about that song is that, like a lot of songs I write, it started with just a vocal melody, and some piano underneath it. Usually songs that I write usually start with, you know, piano, guitar, or occasionally harp, which is, you know, if I'm feeling crazy. But that song started with piano, and I was just sort of messing around with these really weird vocal effects that were kind of new. And I came up with this melody, and I originally, when I started recording it, actually, you know, like getting the song together, I mean, it was an ambient song. Like it didn't have drums. It had this, you can hear it at the very end, but there's this loop of my voice that's just kind of sounds like a little sound. It's making this little dinging sound. Kind of sounds like sonar or something. That was the drum in the song. Like that was the whole, drum, the whole beat of it. And so that was the initial version. It was an ambient track. And I had this idea of making an ambient Ships in the Night album. And this was like really, I was really writing tracks for it. And because it was kind of reflective of what I was sort of feeling at the time and what was happening, and it felt sort of relevant. And that still might happen. But then I, kind of was experimenting, and I was like, well, what if I release this as like a single, and it has like the ambient version and then the like, remix or something. And the remix was the sort of like dance version. And I started working on the dance version, and then I just like really liked that. And I started, really enjoyed working on it a lot and kept sort of adding. And so that song I think is meaningful. And it's interesting. It's a song that, I'm really like lyrical. Like I almost always have lyrics. That song didn't feel right. It was like, one of the only songs I've written where I just felt like it needed this like wail, you know what I mean? And so I really it was a really cool thing to put out. I'm really glad that it's out there now. I made a video, and I directed and edited it, which was a new thing for me. It was really fun. I finally am getting into video, which it's been a long time of not really being in that world very much. I like to do everything. I do everything, pretty much. It's like the music, and also, like you said, the art and design and graphics and t-shirts. And so now I'm getting in the video world, so I can really like keep it, doing I like to collaborate too, I do, but it's like, it's cool to, especially like in a time like this, be able to do a lot of things on your own. So
Yeah, it's definitely a good time to be self-contained.
yeah, definitely. Definitely. I'm feeling for musicians who like can't practice with their bands, or, that's definitely hard.
Yeah. So what are your plans for the future?
Yeah. I think there might be some exciting things in store. Time will tell. But I definitely, will be working on this album, and it doesn't have a release date yet, but I'm excited for it. I really feel like it is some of my favorite stuff that I've done yet, and kind of like more of the same, but also a little bit different. And just getting a lot more like self-contained, as you said, with producing. And so it's really, I feel like I've it's kind of a little bit of another level, maybe, not to sound whatever, but it's cool. And more music videos. I think I'm going to be releasing another one in the spring. And just, continuing to do shows online when I can, because that's what we have right now. And even though it's not the same, it feels good to perform. And I think maybe it feels good to watch music. I like watching my friends' bands, and having, things like this, like tonight, getting people together. I mean, it's like, why not, and it's also, it feels part of that, you know what I mean? Like at least it's this, it's when I think about last year and the show that you curated and put together, and how wonderful that was, and how like, just like warm, and I don't know, it just had a great feeling, it was like the solstice time, and
Thank you.
yeah, it was great. It was really nice. And but this, what you're doing tonight is like another time where people can be together, and that's it's really important. So gathering in whatever way.
Yeah, it's not the same, but we're all doing what we can and making the best of it.
Mhm.
Is that a Ships in the Night coffee mug you are drinking out of?
It's a loon. It's a loon. I love loons. They're like, do you know about them at all? They're like a aquatic bird that lives kind of in the north.
I have a passing familiarity with loons. Do they have any like symbolism for you?
Well, yeah, they definitely do, and that's why there was a loon on the cover of my remix album.
Right.
It was funny because they were like, "Why do you have a duck on your album?" And I was like, "No."
So
But
that was not the cover of your remix album. That was just a loon, right?
the loon.
Okay. That you're on your mug there.
Yeah. Yes. This is no. Yeah. I didn't print my own. Album.
Okay. Yeah, it's very similar to that cover. So I thought it was the same thing for a minute.
No, you have a really good point. It really is. So yeah, it's funny. No, I just love this bird. They're very cool. They're kind of like dinosaurs. They've been living like in the Arctic and in freezing waters forever, and they're gorgeous. Like seeing them swim underwater, they're like this black and white lace pattern, and they have this really like haunting call. It's just this really kind of mythical animal, and it's what I found out recently is their closest relative is not a duck, but actually a penguin. So
Wow.
yeah.
Very cool. So you've been doing a lot of live streams, I think, in this time, right? And they're mostly through your Facebook page, through the Ships of the Night Facebook page?
Yeah, I think they mostly have been. There's been a few Zoom and a few like Instagram, but I've mostly found in terms of getting too close to people, just like friends picking up on it and seeing what's happening, Facebook has been the best. But I do think Zoom is probably like a better platform in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if people want to follow you, that's facebook.com/ships in the night.
Ships in the Night Music. Yeah.
Ships in the Night Music. Okay. Is there anything you want to say to the people of Pittsburgh, people around North America that might be watching, or to the other performers?
Yeah. Well, first of all, to the other performers, hi. I'm glad we're doing this kind of reunion, even though we can't be together. And thank you again, Kelly, for having all of us. And then I guess to, everyone who's watching here tonight, just stay well. I hope that winter can be warm for you and a good time, even though this is a dark time. I feel like, being together and sharing music and sharing whatever space this is that we're in. I mean, we are together, we're not, but, we are like we're in the same experience, and that I think that has a lot of value right now. So just, stay healthy and take care of each other and take care of yourself.